right, today is Saturday, October 7th, 2023, and for the first time on this car, I have a deadline. And I already don't like it, but it's something that needs to be done. So I have about a month to get this thing back on the frame and have the top installed. I have somebody coming out to the house to do that, and so he said that, you know, basically the top needs to latch, the top needs to be able to move on its own power, for him to do a good job on the install. So that being said, the reinforcements got to go. I really don't want to take the reinforcements off unless it's on the frame, so it needs to be on the frame. So what I did yesterday is I started messing around with the top pump and the cylinders. I got the cylinders bolted in and the hoses ran, and the pump's kind of just in place right there. So we're gonna mess with that a little bit. I did get the pinch well molding back from chrome, so I got the snap trim chrome, and I already have the top and the pads. So before we put it on the frame, unfortunately, this is a gasket that goes between the oil pan and the pickup tube on the LT motor. When I put the oil pan on, I don't think so, but I can't remember 100%, but I don't think it came with this gasket. Now, my personal opinion, I don't think this gasket's that important. That's why I proceeded without it. But after talking to a few people, they really recommended that this gasket needs to be there. I've never, you know, installed a drivetrain like this, so I don't know what I'm getting into, but I figure I should put it in. And in order to do that, hopefully we can get away with dropping the pan and making it work. If not, we have to pull the drivetrain off the frame, which is a big bummer. But I'd rather pull it off the frame now than get the car running and something we got low oil pressure or something, and we got to do it then. So I mean, we're just going to take probably about 3 hours to knock it out. I've really been dreading doing it, but we're going to get it done today. I ordered all the stuff for the brakes. So we're going to run the brake lines today on the frame. The frame's been tucked away for probably about a year. I got benders, I got the flare tools, I got the brake lines itself, rear brake line, I got clamps, I got the fuel hose set up. So we're going to run all that on the frame today. Kind of clean work, not no metal work. Bobby's out of town, so none of that. But that's today's goal. So I got to dig this frame out. Like I say, it's been tucked away in the garage in the house, and that's what we're gonna do today. It's a cold front came through, so it's like 74 degrees. I think it's gonna be 74 for the high, which is a big change from what we're used to. So it's actually kind of cool. But yeah, that's the plan today. So let me get moving around. I already made room, and hopefully we don't have to pull this motor, but if we do, we'll get it done. So I'll bring you guys back once I get this frame in here. All right, so I moved it around, got it in here. Maybe some new people to the channel weren't watching when I built this frame, but this is the frame for the 60 rolling chassis. It's 4-sided molded, reinforced, and painted. Got a 4 9-inch, and it's narrowed. So here's a drivetrain. It's a 2018 LT motor. It's got a CVF pulley kit. So I need to drop the oil pan. And I don't know that the oil pan is going to come out of there. It doesn't have enough drop really, so I think we're going to have to lift the drivetrain up. I think we'll lift the drivetrain up and make it a lot easier, unfortunately. So the first order of business is I'm going to switch these back springs out. I just got some stock springs. I believe they're either from the front or the back. I don't know. And I'm going to switch them out because the back is way too low right now to put the body on. So I'm going to switch it out and get a little more manageable, and then we'll put these other springs in once it comes time for the hydraulics. But right now the car's way too low. Frame's way too low. First order of business, I'll bring you guys back.
Yeah, you want to wipe this down.
All right, here we are. We got the rear brake line all the way to the front done. So we're bending these by hand. But we opted to go around the pumpkin. I bolted the T to the pumpkin, and then so stainless line is CPP, came with the T and the bracket. Well, the bracket is part of the T. So as you can see, secured and going nowhere. We got a clamp right here and some little stainless clamps and stainless screws all the way throughout. Pretty straightforward now that we've done it. And then here we just kind of left it. The body can go on without needing this to be anything, and when the body goes on, we can put that directly to the master cylinder. So overall, 2, 4, 6, 7 clamps, 7 stainless clamps. So what we're gonna do now is the fuel line. So we're gonna run the fuel line. We're not gonna secure it because it still needs to be, the ends need to be on, and for that, I think you need to use the vise, huh?
Yeah.
Like we did on your car. So we're just gonna put it in place and get the clamps in place. That way we can unclamp it when it comes time. So I figure it's easier to drill holes and run clamps right now with no body on than trying to do it with the body on. But I think we're gonna probably end up running it down the side of the frame. We'll see. We'll see. So everything's done. These lines are flared. Everything's done. And like I said, we left that one open. Man, I should have been making brake lines myself all the time, dude, instead of using the pre-bents.
No, easier, yeah.
I think this stuff, this is just regular carbon steel, and man, you can bend it by hand. You don't even need no bender. You need a bender. We bent this one around by hand. We actually used a rim. Bent it around a rim to get that bend right there. Probably got a nice glare. Anyways, bring you guys back once we get the gas line done. All right, so we're back. We got this oil pan off. It had to be pried off, hammered and pried, but we got it. So we're putting a new bead of the RTV gasket maker. We did put the gasket in. I'll attach a picture of that. I don't think it needed it personally, but I don't know anything about these motors, and I was told that it needed it, so we put it in. Got the brake line semi mocked up. What we're trying to do is finish up this oil pan, then we're going to come back and do the brake line. We'll run the brake line behind the cross member. So we're moving right along. We probably got about another hour and a half, and we'll wrap it up. Fuel line's done. Done what needs to be done. Front to rear brake line's done. Bring you guys back once we get this thing back on the frame. All right, so man, we got it done. Everything we wanted to get done today. So the brake lines are ran, the gas line is ran, the fuel line, kind of not completely permanent, but pretty much. We wanted to put the clamps where we can access them, because if you put them on top of the frame, then for some reason you really can't access them. So we kind of thought about that after this one. Can't really access this one, but the hose slides in. So worst case is we can slide it. So the fuel line is going to run back here somewhere to some sort of pressure regulator. We'll figure that out when we get the gas tank and all that. We got plenty of line, and then along the front, and it's going to fall in somewhere around here. It's going to go up under here somewhere. So plenty of line. I mean, it's all the way past the AC compressor. So gas line's done, brake line's done. So the car right now has some stock springs in it. Some I think they're front springs or something. I don't know. But so right now it's kind of like ride height. It's actually like a little bit higher than ride height. And I wanted to do that so that when we put the body on, like it's not on the ground, because with it on the ground you can't get on. You know, it's just awkward. So kind of put it like that. And when the time comes with the hydraulics, whatever, we'll chop the springs down and get it, you know, sitting right and all that. But man, I really like how we did the around the hump there. And we secured it on the inside of the frame there. And that hose is plenty long. It's a 16-inch hose. I got it from CPP on eBay, and it came with the T. And you can see there's plenty of slack because I think the frame is going to go up like maybe 4 more inches, maybe, and that's plenty of hose. So all in all, between all the brake lines and the clamps and everything, I think I might have spent $100. And I got a bunch of clamps left over. And I did buy 2 25-foot rolls of brake line, and we got plenty left over. So we're not quite completely done because I don't know if I'm going to run a proportioning valve yet or not. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we left plenty up here to figure that out later. So we went from the passenger side. I brought a new picture. You know, basically clamped here, that ain't going nowhere. And it runs on the inside of the cross member. Inside the cross member up to the other side.
I think you can see it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we did that so you don't see them across the front, which, I mean, it ain't that big of a brake got on. It ain't that big of a deal going across the front, man, but I spent so much time, you know, molding the front cross member and everything. I like the way that looks, you know, I didn't want to.
Nice and clean.
Nice and clean, and
give you some room for some leafing or mural or something.
Yeah, maybe. But I didn't want to put a brake line there. So then we pulled the motor out like we shown in the previous video right now. Took the oil pan down. I put that gasket in, which I didn't think it needed it, but it's in now. And we got it all back in. And without incident, man. We didn't chip no paint. We didn't scratch no pulley kit. So hopefully we don't have to do that again, because I had been racking my brain about doing that for the past 2 weeks. How are we going to pull that out without damaging it? And we did, man. Definitely a 2-man job though.
Yeah, yeah. You need some 2 set of eyes to be looking at all the chains, the way they tighten up everything.
Yeah, because it gets kind of funny around these sensors, the chains. You know, we don't want the chain rubbing on the sensor and pop it or whatever.
So the question is, when are the 520s going on?
I would like some 520s. I would like some 520s. Those tires are brand new though. We'll see. We'll see, man. I just need people, you know, send me money, and then I'll buy 520s.
YouTube money.
But so now basically the body's ready to go on the frame. I'm thinking next weekend maybe. We could put the body on. We could put the trunk on. We could hang the doors, and then we're pretty much in preparation for the guy to come do the top. I had to get the top rack working, but once the body's on the frame, then we could take the reinforcements off. And I mean, you know, it's cruise control from there. I still need a drive shaft, but all in all, man, in these brake lines, less than $100. And this is actually my first time doing that. I generally buy the pre-bent ones, but since all this frame is all molded, there's no brackets.
Yeah, those
to snap in.
Those pre-bent kits are like $150.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay, man. But definitely they don't fit on the rear end because this rear end is narrowed.
Yeah, most of the kits are made for regular length. Yeah, stock length.
So you try this. This is an inch shorter. The brake line, you're here trying to make funky dips and stuff to lose an inch of length somewhere, and they just come out kind of, you know, something to be desired. But yeah, man, we're moving right along. Hopefully get this thing on the frame next weekend. Hopefully Astros win right now. We're playing the Twins. And yeah, so we'll bring you guys back once we get this thing on the frame. But downhill from here, man. Y'all stay tuned for more work. Thanks for watching.